Well, good morning. I have something to take out of the oven this morning, which is unusual. I prepared the baked beans yesterday, and in the late afternoon, the oven was kind of cooling down. It was about 250, 300, and we had no more major baking plans for the oven. So I prepared the beans for going in, put them in, and then just forgot about it. And we watched the fire to make sure it didn't get too hot, not above 300, and the beans stayed in the oven overnight. So now I'm excited to see how it turned out. You can see I don't need my pot holders because Stephanie just started the oven for the day, and it hasn't even gotten to 200. So here they are, let us see. Now you see I have an outer layer of tin foil. I don't like tin foil touching the food. So underneath it, the first thing I put down was a piece of parchment paper. And wow, there's some steam coming up. I don't know if you can see it, but I can. They look like real baked beans. Wow, this is nice. I'm so pleased. They're just right because the sauce that accompanies the beans and that thickens in a bake is very nice. It's just right. It's not too wet and it's not moist enough. This is good. Well, the next part of the video will be showing you how it began. Here we go. 3 cups of soldier beans. And I'm just they don't really need rinsing. I buy them in bulk, 25-pound bag, but looks pretty good. So I'm just going to cover it to the top with water because they will swell and absorb some water for 24 hours. That's it until tomorrow. Before we get started with the beans, this is in my way, so I'll tell you about it. These are mung beans, which I put in last night and, halfway up with water. And I'm going to drain these, just get most of the water out. And I have a screen here, putting it on, and this is what you do after you've soaked the mung beans overnight. You just drain all the water out and put it in a dark place where there's no direct sunlight. So here are our soldier beans that have been soaking for 24 hours. And I'm just going to drain them. I have a colander in here. I'm putting all of these in here. They've swelled quite a bit. I started out with 3 cups of dried soldier beans. And I have all of this. They tell you to drain them and just rinse them a little bit. Then I will put them in the pressure cooker. There. I'm up to the line and I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to get this going, and I cook these for about 20 minutes or a little bit less. So everything is set. I'm ready to go to the stove. So here we are. I'm putting it on the back where the fire is pretty hot. And as soon as it starts whistling, I'll start the timer for 15 to 20 minutes. I can hear the steam, I can see some of it, so I'm going to set the timer now for 20 minutes. Because I would like these beans to be very soft. Okay, 20 minutes. Well, I guess the beans are done. I'm going to take these off the stove and place the pressure cooker in the sink where it will calm down. So I'll wait a few minutes. I could also just pour cold water over the top and it would stop and all of the steam would escape. But I'm going to let it go because I like the beans extra soft. Before I mix what I call gravy that bakes in with the beans in the oven in a little while, I butter the dish in which they bake because I find you don't get this, sticking and burning stuck beans and the sugary, which you'll see, juices that go into making what we know as baked beans. So I'm just slathering some butter all over the inside, especially the sides. That's where a lot of the sticking, which makes it so difficult to clean and unpleasant, at least for me. So I like to be generous with the butter, which we add in little chunks before the beans go into the oven, you'll see. Just finishing up buttering the pan. Wanted to make sure I didn't miss any spots. Ooh, especially the corners where things get baked on. I know, it's a little compulsive. I don't like baked on stuff on glass. It's very hard to clean. Okay, that looks good. In making this, what I call gravy for the beans, I start with molasses, and it calls for 2/3 of a cup. Slow moving, it's still cool. And I love the Barbados unsulfured molasses. It's the most flavorful and the most pure. So I put that in. And next, a teaspoon of dried mustard and a teaspoon of dried ground ginger. And 1/4 of a teaspoon, well, it says 3 teaspoons. I found it too salty. So I'm just going to put 1.5. And I will mix that up. Okay. I can still hear a little whistling, so this is allowing more steam to escape. When it stops, I can safely open the top. There we go, there's no more escaping. I'm going to open this. Don't want the steam to come back at me. And here we are. I will show you how the beans are. There's still plenty of liquid left, so there was no fear of having the water run out and burning the beans. So there they are, and they're very hot. I'm going to take them out of here and let them cool down until they're just warm. Then I'll be ready to continue in the baking dish. I'm chopping a medium onion, almost done, and I'm going to add this to the beans and incorporate them. You can see that it's a medium chop. There. I'll mix them. So I have my mix that you saw with the molasses and the ginger and the salt and the mustard powder. And I'm going to add, I've saved some bean water, and I'm going to add 1, 2. I'm going to bring it up to the 4-cup line. When I used to do this in a bean pot, I just covered all the beans with water, and that was it. But because I don't like to do it that way anymore, I'm doing it this way. I'm going to put some in. And then I'll put this in my container for baking. Let's see. It's kind of hot. I don't think this is going to fit. But I want all of the spices and the molasses in. I've started putting dots of butter. I have a few more to do, and then this will be ready to cover and put it in the oven at a low temperature. 250 is good for slow baking of the beans. I like to cook them slowly, even though the beans, you could say rightly, that they're pre-cooked. I put parchment down first because I don't like aluminum foil touching food. And so this is the protector, and this will hold heat. The oven was hotter than 250, but I knew that as soon as I opened the door to place the beans in the oven, I will lose the temperature. So this is fine. And it goes. Now the recipes all tell you 7 hours, but we've pre-cooked the beans. So it might be 2 hours, and they'll be hot enough and had time for the beans to absorb some of those delicious flavors in the gravy. Well, good morning, Good Friday. It's the 18th of April. And yesterday we baked the beans, and now we're going to see how they did. In the afternoon, as they were baking, I had at first the parchment and the aluminum foil on to get it started. And then, after 2 hours, I had a look at it. It was very juicy, and I thought this needs to concentrate and dry out, bake out a little bit. So I removed the cover, let it go for a while, came back an hour later and checked. And I thought, oh, there's room for some sauce. So I took it out, I added what I had left, and then I put it back in and let it cook a little longer. And by 7, we weren't putting any more wood into the stove, and the oven was cooling down. So I left, I was leaving this open because it tends to get very hot, and I wanted to make sure it didn't go above 250 or 3. So then I put the cover back on and said good night. And so here we are in the morning, and it's coming out. And it's cool. I don't even need anything to protect my hands. It's fine. So I'll just close that. Well, the great reveal. Here we go. All right. It's warm. And it looks very pretty. And so it's not overly juicy. Looks really delicious. So we are going to have some of these lovely beans for breakfast this morning. We're having poached eggs, bacon, hollandaise sauce for the eggs, and some baguette, which I will warm up. So that'll make a nice hearty breakfast. That'll prepare us for the day. And I hope you're prepared for your day.